Greetings everybody, my name is Tommy the Keyblade Master and welcome to another one of my reviews. Today we're taking a look at Mario Tennis for the N64, which has just been released on the Wii U Virtual Console. Now I had this footage set up for several months now. Last January I was planning on trying to restart my Mario Mondays by doing a bunch of Mario Tennis reviews on 3 of the Mario Tennis games. I got this one done, but I kind of stopped doing them because I had so much stuff to do with the Kingdom Hearts videos I was doing at the time and other things I was trying at the time that I decided to stop the Mario Mondays altogether and decided a day just focused on Mario games was probably a bad idea in the future and decided to focus on other projects. Since I still had this on my hard drive, I decided to buy the Wii U version since it cost me $2, try it out, and give you guys my thoughts and feelings on the whole experience, playing this on the N64 when I was a bit younger, playing this on the Wii, and now playing this on the Wii U, and whether or not I think this game is good or if you should get it. Now, to start off with, Mario Tennis is definitely a really fun action arcade game, but I do have to mention it's overshadowed a bit by its successor on the GameCube. But let's get into the nitty-gritty and see if this game is still worth getting. Let's talk about the story in this game, shall we? It has no story. It starts off with a few minutes of footage of Mario and his pals hitting the tennis courts, Bowser showing up, Wario and Waluigi showing up to cause trouble, and that's it. Each character does have their own ending though, and some of them can be quite humorous, so it's worth playing through each character at least on single mode for a while just to see their ending. But beyond that, there is no narrative. The Game Boy Color one does have quite a bit of narrative, but then it's also an RPG. I do not have a physical copy of the Game Boy Color version, so I can't make a recording of it. I have it on the 3DS Virtual Console. It might be worth checking out. It's not as solid on the tennis gameplay as the N64 counterpart. That did frustrate me a bit, but it's an alright RPG and its mechanics does make it a little bit better than your average portable tennis game. Anyways, let's go on and talk about the N64 version's graphics. Let's face it, outside of the Atari generation, the N64 and PS1 generations have graphics that have aged the worst. Mario Tennis, unfortunately, is no exception. Although they do hold up fairly well for this era, they still don't look that great. You have sharp-edged characters, colors that aren't exactly the greatest, and character models that have since long evolved. So they look a little awkward now, especially again if you compare them to their GameCube counterpart. Still, the graphics are kind of smooth, the ball runs fast, the characters are well animated, there's some nice animation in the cutscenes. So overall, for its time, Mario Tennis looks pretty good. Just, if you're planning on getting the Wii U Tennis game, or if you own the GameCube, prepare for a huge step back in the character models and graphics quality when you jump back into the N64 era. The sound and music in this game are actually pretty good. The sound effects for the tennis ball going back and forth are really realistic, and you have some nice sound clips from the characters, and most of them aren't grating with a few exceptions. The music's also quite nice and lovely and fits the tennis motif. All in all, no complaints with the sound. The gameplay in Mario Tennis is, well, tennis. At its core, Mario Tennis is an arcade tennis experience, and it's a good one. If you don't know what the rules of tennis are, they're pretty simple. You hit a ball with the racket over the net. If the ball bounces inside the court once and then again before your opponent is able to hit it back to you, you score. So many points will earn you a game, so many games will earn you a set, and so many sets wins the match. Why are the rules of tennis so convoluted? I don't know. I didn't invent the sport, but they can be a little confusing sometimes. And the game does give you rule books and guidebooks to help you with the scoring and who's ahead. And the game starts off as pretty simple, fast-paced games with really easy AI to beat, and you only have to win 2 games for the first couple of matches in order to proceed. Later on, they start throwing in more games and more set points that you have to win in order to win the match, as well as fix up the composition of the court. Your first court will be really bouncy, your second court will be on clay, which the ball won't bounce at all, and it will really screw up the way you do your shots and the way you have to return your shots. And then finally you'll get a grass court and some really hard AI to beat if you want to beat the Star Cup. Overall, the game is actually pretty fun, and the way you proceed through the cups and courses are also pretty good. Each character has their own courses to go through. So, for example, if you beat the Flower Cup with Mario, you're going to have to beat the Mushroom Cup with Peach if you want to get that far with Peach. I kind of like that setup, and since the tournaments are really only about 15 to 20 minutes long at most, it actually kind of works in with the game limit. So I don't have the Super Mario Strikers problem that I had where you had overly long cups and you had to reset just to change your captain. That doesn't happen here, and I appreciate it. As far as the controls go, they're actually pretty easy to control your character. You move around using the analog stick, of course, and then you choose what type of shot with either B, A, or a combination. For example, pressing BA at the same time will do you a power swing, which makes the ball go really fast if you hit it. Pressing B and A will cause you to drop your shot, which causes it to go really slowly over the net and causes your opponent to run towards the ball. And then if you press A and then B, you can shoot it way over your opponent's head with a shot that goes really high. Overall, it's really easy to learn but very tough to master, and the game itself is pretty enjoyable. And of course, there are a few extra modes, this being a Mario sports games, but most of them are forgettable. First, there is the doubles mode, and the doubles mode is just as solid as the single mode. They don't have the individual characters' endings, so I don't exactly enjoy playing this as much as I do singles, but the gameplay is just as solid and the rules are pretty much the same, only you can now bounce the ball on the outside lines. Overall, the doubles mode is just as solid as the singles mode, and your AI partner is usually pretty good. But some of the other extra modes, which include ring toss and then this piranha plant game, aren't quite as good. I will have to give special note, at least when you're playing with a friend on multiplayer, the Bowser's Castle stage, which has you on the swinging course and allows you to pick up power items and shoot them at your opponent, is pretty fun, but it's not as good as some of the special courses that are once again found on the GameCube version. My other complaint with the game goes with the fact that not all the characters are equal. There is a bit of a balance problem, especially if you plan on picking some of the shorter characters. If you plan on going with Toad, prepare to be frustrated, because anyone can just lob a shot over the little guy's head. Same thing with the baby characters. So I usually go with the taller characters. If you haven't noticed, most of my game footage has been with Daisy, because I usually go with Daisy, Peach, or Waluigi, just because they are so tall that it's just easier to hit the balls that come flying at them compared to the shorter characters. And that is a little bit of an imbalance, but it's not a deal breaker. So let's talk about the Virtual Console version and which ones do I recommend. Yes, I do recommend the Wii U version being the best, but is it worth the $2 if you already own it on the original Wii? And I'm going to say, yeah, maybe, but only because the Wii U does not have GameCube controller ports. If it had the GameCube controller ports, I would say stick with the original Wii version. The only thing the Wii U version adds is the quick suspend save feature, and you don't really need it in this one. If you want to cheat, the game's quick save feature that it has on its own will do ye nicely. So I don't know if it's necessarily worth the $2 unless you really want to play on the Wii U controller, which is kind of nicer than the classic controllers because you don't have the Wii remote weighing you down. So anyways, that's my thoughts on this game. I give it about a 3.7 out of 5 if I have to give it a score. If you're a fan of the Mario sports games, it's definitely worth checking out. It's worth the $10 or the $2 if you haven't played it before. But if you do own the original Wii, I do suggest saving your money and getting the GameCube version, because the GameCube version for the most part, is the superior version, and I will be reviewing that one shortly, hopefully. Anyways, this is Tommy the Keyblade Master, thanking you for watching this video and signing out and wishing you a good day. I will be back shortly with the sales of this week, and there were a lot of great ones this week, folks, so I'll see you then in my next video. Have a nice day.